All right, hello and welcome. If you're gearing up for your O-level Pakistan Studies exam, then you are in exactly the right place. We're going to take a high-speed tour of Pakistan's physical geography, breaking down all the key mountains, plains, and deserts to give you a really solid, crystal-clear foundation for your exams. But, before we dive into the details, let's just start with a big question. How does a country's landscape, its mountains, its rivers, its deserts, how does that stuff actually influence the lives of its people, its economy, and even its future? That's the real story we're going to uncover together. So here's our game plan. Think of it as a virtual journey. We'll start with a big picture overview, then we'll head up to the northern peaks, follow the mighty Indus River down to the plains, check out the arid lands, and then, this is the important part, we'll connect all the dots to see why it all matters so much.
Okay, let's get into it. To really, truly understand Pakistan, you have to start with the land itself. It's a country of massive contrasts. We're talking some of the highest peaks on Earth, and then these vast, flat plains that just seem to stretch on forever.
Now, for your exams, it's super helpful to think of Pakistan's geography in these 5 major regions. You've got the northern and western mountains, the rugged plateaus, the absolute lifeline that is the Indus Plain, and of course, the expansive deserts. Each one has its own unique character, its own story to tell. Our first stop is way up north, a spectacular natural fortress built by some of the highest, most intimidating mountain ranges in the entire world. And listen, this isn't just a pretty backdrop. This region is the source of the country's water, and it has a huge say in its climate. And this slide, it lays out the 3 titans of the north perfectly. Just look at the differences. You've got the Karakoram with its jagged, sharp peaks, the Himalayas, literally the house of ice, and the rugged, barren Hindu Kush. This table is an amazing revision tool for comparing them in your exam. Just to help you grasp the sheer scale we're talking about, that's the height of K2, the crown jewel of a Karakoram range. It is the highest peak in Pakistan and the second highest on the entire planet. An absolutely immense wall of rock and ice. And these mountains are so much more than just rock. They are gigantic frozen reservoirs. They hold some of the largest glaciers you can find anywhere outside the polar caps. And these aren't just static blocks of ice. Think of them as slow-moving rivers of ice that melt every summer, feeding the very river that gives Pakistan life. So, naturally, that meltwater has to go somewhere. It flows down from the mountains, carving its path through the country and creating our next region, the incredible Indus Plain. This here illustrates the epic journey of the Indus River perfectly. It starts as just a trickle up in the north, but then it gathers incredible strength in the upper plain as it's joined by its famous tributaries in Punjab. From there, it flows as one enormous river through the lower plain in Sindh, and finally, it fans out into a delta before it meets the sea. Okay, here is a key vocabulary word you absolutely 100% need to know: doab. It's the name for that incredibly fertile patch of land that you find between 2 rivers in the Punjab. These doabs are the exact reason the upper Indus Plain is one of the most productive farming regions on Earth.
This quote just sums it all up, doesn't it? The Indus Plain is Pakistan's food basket. Simple as that. For thousands and thousands of years, the river has overflowed its banks, dropping off this rich, nutrient-filled silt, creating this vast expanse of fertile land that literally feeds the entire nation.
But our journey isn't quite over yet. As we move away from the immediate embrace of the river, the landscape changes, and it changes dramatically. We're now entering the arid expanse, the deserts of Pakistan, where life is shaped by one thing above all else: the scarcity of water. This slide gives you a really quick comparison of the 2 main deserts you'll see in your studies. You've got the Thal Desert, tucked in Punjab, between the Indus and Jhelum rivers, and then the much larger Thar Desert, which stretches all across Sindh. Knowing where they are is so important for any map-based questions. Life out here is completely different. The geography just dictates everything. With these rolling sand dunes, very little rainfall, and not much vegetation, the population is really sparse. A lot of people live a nomadic lifestyle, always on the move with their livestock, searching for that next source of water and grazing land. So, we've seen the towering mountains, the fertile plains, and the dry, arid deserts. The big question is, how do these incredibly different landscapes all fit together to shape the nation as a whole? Well, it all comes down to this. The physical landscape is basically the master architect of the country's climate. The mountains are so high they catch the rain-bearing winds, the plains get to enjoy the rivers that result from that, and the deserts, well, they often lie in what's called a rain shadow, an area that gets way less rain because the mountains block all the wet weather. This variety has a direct impact on where and how people can live.
And this chart just makes that connection so obvious. I mean, look at the huge difference in rainfall. The highland zone up north gets the most, which feeds the rivers. The lowland plains get a decent amount of monsoon rain, topped up by the river system. And the arid zone, it gets very, very little, which explains exactly why it's a desert.
So, as you were revising for that exam, just remember these key connections. The mountains are the water towers. The Indus Plain is the agricultural heartland. The plateaus hold the mineral wealth. The deserts present their own unique challenges. And of course, the coastline is the gateway for trade. And let's end with a final thought to take with you. This geography, it isn't just static information for an exam. It has actively shaped Pakistan's history. It defines its current opportunities and its struggles, and it will, without a doubt, pose some major challenges, from water management to climate change for its future. Something to think about. Good luck with your studies.